Hey guys, AfroPinkid here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about two phones that I'm looking at and comparing the two. The two phones I'm talking about is the iPhone 5 that hasn't been announced yet, but the event for it has been announced for October the 4th. And the other phone that I'm talking about is the Samsung Galaxy S2. So let's get this phone started. So guys, before I start the episode, I just have to address one thing. A couple episodes ago, you guys saw some long, hairy, Bigfoot feet around this area over here playing Skate 3. Yes, it was Skate 3, and I just have to address one thing. It was not my girlfriend, it was actually my brother. The one that actually got hurt that I was talking about in my last video, and both of my brothers are right here, and guess what they're playing? Yeah, go ahead and pause the video and just think real quick. What video game could that be? Well, the video game that it is, it's the beta for Battlefield 3, and here are my brothers. So, let's first give the specs to the Samsung Galaxy S2. The Samsung Galaxy S2 is rocking a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED display at a resolution of 480 by 800. It has 1GB of RAM, an 8-megapixel back-facing camera, a 2-megapixel front-facing camera, dual-core 1.2 GHz ARM Cortex-A9 processor, with a dedicated Mali 400 GPU, with the Exynos chipset. So now let's talk about the specs to the iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 hasn't been announced yet, but we're going to assume that it's going to have pretty much the same specs as the iPad 2. So the iPhone 5 also should be rocking a 1 GHz ARM Cortex-A9 processor. However, it's going to have the Apple A5 chipset. And the graphics card in the iPhone 5 should be the SGX 543 MP2 GPU. So right now, the iPhone 4 does have a Retina display. So it's one of the best looking displays out there. However, that is with a 3.5-inch package. But the iPhone 5 should have a bigger display. We are hoping for 4 inches, but there's a lot of speculation saying that it's going to be 3.7-inch. However, let's just say it's going to have a 4-inch display. So let's start comparing the phones. Let's start off with the display. The Samsung Galaxy S2, like I said before, has a 4.3-inch display at a resolution of 480 by 800. That's pretty standard for most phones out there. However, the iPhone 5 most likely will have, let's just say guys, I know you guys are going to be like, whoa, it could be 3.7-inch, but let's just say it has a 4-inch display. So it's going to be a little bit smaller than the Samsung Galaxy S2. Here is a Samsung Galaxy S Fascinate, and this has a 4-inch display. Here's the iPhone 5, and then right here is my Droid X, and this has a 4.3-inch display. So you can actually see if this thing has power. No, it doesn't. But you can pretty much see right here comparing the screen sizes. Okay. So as you can see, the Samsung Galaxy S2 will have a little bit bigger of a display. However, because the iPhone 4 has the Retina display, most likely the iPhone 5 will have the Retina display. So it's going to have a higher resolution. So what is it? It's going to be higher resolution or bigger display? You guys choose. So now let's talk about graphics performance, playing video games, emulators, and all of that. So like I said before, the iPhone 5 will most likely have the same GPU that the iPad 2 has right now, and that is the SGX 540 or 543 MP2. And the Samsung Galaxy S2 right now has the Mali 400 GPU. Now, I did tons of research online, and I actually came across about 2 or 3 websites saying that the iPhone 5 processor does outperform the Mali 400 by a pretty good margin. So that's pretty much saying that the iPhone 5 should outperform the Galaxy S2 in graphics power. Now, we can't really compare the two right now because the iPhone 5 isn't out yet, but comparing to the iPad 2 does a really good graphics performance. But of course, the Samsung Galaxy S2 and almost all the Samsung Galaxy S line phones have always had really good graphics power. So when the iPhone 5 does come out, I will be getting it, and I will be getting a Samsung Galaxy S2 phone, and I will do a comparison for you guys. So now let's talk about CPU performance. The Galaxy S2 phone is going to have a 1.2 GHz dual core, and most likely the iPhone 5 is going to have a 1 GHz dual core. So talking about clock speeds, yes, the Samsung Galaxy S2 is going to be a little bit faster, but they do both have different chipsets. So it's, pretty much comparing Intel chips to AMD chips. Some AMD chips might be faster, but overall Intel chips are faster. But at this time, there's no real performance how to test out the iPhone 5 iOS performance because they're running iOS, and Android you could simply do a benchmark test. However, I'm going to just say, because of my knowledge, that Samsung Galaxy S phones usually have superior chipsets. Not saying the iPhone A4s and A5s are not a good chipset, but I'm going to give the edge to the Samsung Galaxy S2 phone. So honestly guys, both phones look really nice. Both phones most likely will have an 8 megapixel camera, shoot at 1080p. However, I do have to say, in the era of last year's phones with the iPhone 4s, Samsung Galaxy S phones, Droid X's, all the, that generation of phones, for some reason, Apple always had it so, I don't know, there was something about their camera and pictures and video that just always looked a little bit better, in my opinion, and other people's opinion too. And you guys can have your opinion. This is my own opinion. But for some reason, the iPhone 4s just shot video a little bit better, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I honestly think the iPhone 5 is going to have the same thing with this generation of phones, that just something about it is going to shoot video a little bit better. And then another thing that I'm not going to talk about is, what are you guys? Are you guys going to like the Android interface or the iOS interface? I'm just saying both are good and both have their pros and cons. As for me, I will be getting an iPhone 5, and don't worry, I will be getting a Samsung Galaxy S2 also to test around, play emulators, and do comparisons with the two. And one question that I get all the time is, how do I start doing tech videos? What websites do I look at? How do I get it started? And one thing that you definitely have to do is get a good, reliable website to give you guys news. And one website out there that I use a lot to get a lot of my information that's really reliable and very sourceful is AndroidPolice.com. AndroidPolice.com is super reliable to get all your Android news, so I'll have a link below. So this has been AfroPinKid, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Samsung Galaxy S out. Boom.